Hey everybody, it's pizza day again, but oddly enough, you're gonna notice that the rock box is all covered up and not heated up. So for the last 4 months or so, I have been making tons of Neapolitan pizza in this thing, and it's been great. I love every minute of it. But unfortunately, prior to the last 4 months, with all the COVID-19 things, I was actually a pretty dedicated carb-free person. I tried to minimize my carb intake and tried to follow a pretty strict keto diet. That being said, once I started making pizza and once I bought this, I kind of fell off the wagon. Well, not really fell off. I jumped off the wagon and just ran away from it. I figured if I was going to be stuck at home, I might as well enjoy life and drink lots of wine, beer, make pizza every day, etc. But this morning I woke up and I decided, you know what, I'm going to try to see if I can make a great keto pizza. So I'm going to give the rock box a rest today, and I'm going to fire up the Weber grill, and I'm going to have some help today from product I just received in the mail earlier in the week from Hans Grill. It's a round pizza stone. It also came with this pizza peel, a wooden pizza peel. And I'm going to put it on the grill. I got the pizza stone set out, and it's about 15 inches in diameter, so it'll be perfect size for pizza. I went ahead and started the grill. I have it lit. I'm gonna keep it on high. You put the pizza stone on first because you want it to get as hot as possible to absorb the heat and transmit that into the pizza crust to get it super crisp. You're gonna want the temperature around 425 degrees, give or take. I'm not too worried about the temperature. As long as it's above around 400 or above, I'm gonna be fine, but probably want to keep it not too terribly hot because I'm not sure how the almond flour is going to bake or if it'll burn. So I'm going to try to keep in that 425 degrees. I'm going to go ahead and close the lid. Now we're going to start building the crust. So let's talk about this. I make a lot of almond crackers. I found that using these flours work the best. This one's actually one of my favorites. You want to pick, it's kind of like making Neapolitan pizza. A lot of it has to do with the type of flour. If you use a generic almond flour, a lot of times it's more coarse ground or it's not blanched. These two are super fine. They're blanched. They are very powdery and they make a very good texture. So I know when making crackers, these make a much better product than using the generic or coarse ground almond flour. So check these out if you can. This one should be readily available in most supermarkets. So some of the ingredients you're going to need, again, you're going to need almond flour. It takes about 100 grams. And you can do this in cups, but usually with baking, any type of thing, it's always better to use a scale. So translated it all into grams just to be exact. So I have 100 grams of the almond flour. We have 1 egg. We also have 28 grams of softened cream cheese. And then we have 168 grams of shredded mozzarella cheese. First thing you want to do is you want to mix the cream cheese into the mozzarella. And then we're actually going to take it inside for a second and microwave it for 20 seconds to help incorporate it. So we're just going to stick the mozzarella cheese and the cream cheese into the microwave for 20 seconds. That'll soften it up a little bit. So once you take it out, it's not gonna be fully melted, but you just wanna be able to incorporate a little bit. So just take a little small spatula and stir it up a little bit just to kind of mix it. So then we're gonna stick it right back in for another 45 seconds. Okay, we just took the cheeses out of the microwave. It's nice and liquidy. So we're gonna stir it up just a little bit more. Now we're gonna mix the flour. Again, the 100 grams of the almond flour into a big bowl. We're gonna mix the egg in there. We're gonna take the cheese and incorporate that into it also. I mean, you kind of want to do this quickly for the cheese. You don't want it to get it solid again. We'll stir this up, make a dough out of it. I'm just using a spatula at the beginning to kind of get it all, and then I'll use my hands. Make sure you microwave it long enough. I stuck it back in the microwave another 5 seconds. Put some almond flour again on the work surface. We're gonna make the dough. Just put a little bit out there. I don't know how much. It's like a couple tablespoons maybe. Again, mix the dough up. I started with a spatula, but it didn't quite work. So heated it up at, like I said, another 5 to 10 seconds, got it soft, and then I just made like a dough ball like I normally would to incorporate the almond flour with the cheese. I'm gonna put that on there, just put it on both sides just to help so it doesn't stick to my hands. Then we're gonna do exactly like I do my Neapolitan pizza. I'm gonna kind of make a circle, form it gently into a circle, then I'm just gonna start pressing. I'm not gonna use a rolling pin because I think it's gonna make it too flat. So I'm just gonna do it exactly like I do my Neapolitan pizza. If it starts sticking, use a little more flour. I think if you use a rolling pin too, it's gonna stick a lot more. It's gonna kind of release the air. Ooh. Again, notice I'm pushing too hard. Don't push too hard because it'll go right through it. It's not like flour. I need a little more flour. It's better than it's sticking. There we go, make a nice surface. And I don't know how it's gonna be. Actually, it's looking pretty good so far. And what I'm gonna do is gonna get one of my pizza pans. I'm actually gonna put it on there to finish it off. Kind of form a little bit of a crust just to keep the toppings in. It's actually looking pretty good, much better than I expected. I'm gonna use one of my aluminum pizza pans. I got these on Amazon. Again, I think they were like $2 each. Bought them. They're great to have too. You can put the pizza, even when I make Neapolitan, pop them on this, and then you can cut it on it and serve it on it, so they make great. Cover it with a piece of parchment paper. I'm just gonna try to pick this up, see if it'll break. Perfect. That way you can get it exactly the size. This is a 12-inch pizza pan, so I can make exactly a 12-inch pizza. I know exactly the size too. If you don't have this, no big deal. Just use a piece of parchment paper and put it on a big plate or a platter or anything will work. Cutting board. Good thing if you're going to be doing this in the oven also, you don't have to do anything else. You can actually just stick this straight onto a cookie sheet and put it right in the oven. I'm going to be doing it on the grill, so I'm actually going to cut a circle around this with scissors so I can put it right on the pizza peel. Again, I've never done this before, but I'm just trying to test it. I'm trying to figure out how I can get this. It's kind of loose a little bit, and I don't know if I can put it on the pizza peel or not without parchment paper. So I'm going to try a little trick. Let's just try. The parchment paper should be fine. It's typically, as long as you keep it around 400 degrees, give or take, under 500 degrees, it shouldn't burn. Anything more than that, it's going to just go up in a puff of smoke probably. It'll be a little bit of a test. I honestly don't know. Not the same texture of real flour, so I don't feel that I can get it on a pizza peel and actually get it off. And then if I use flour, I'm afraid it'll burn. I don't know. We're gonna try it on the, let's see. Yeah, it feels a little bit too wet. We might give it a shot. Again, here's the pizza peel from Hans Grill. Got this from Amazon. They sent it actually to me for free. So wanted to try it out. I'm gonna give it a shot. Let's see if it works without the parchment paper. Let me put a little almond flour on this. Again, I don't want the almond flour to get in between the peel and burn. That's what happens if you have too much flour on this. If it gets in between the crust and the pizza, it'll burn. Let's see if I can get that on there. Oh my gosh. It actually worked. Let's see if it works. Okay, we didn't need the parchment paper. Let's see if I can actually get it on. The trick now is the timing. Once it's on, the longer it stays on the peel, the more risk you have of it sticking. We're about 425 degrees right now. The stone is crazy hot. Let's put this on. Whee, look at that. Actually came off perfect. Again, thanks to Hans Grill. Let's get this going. Well, one thing I forgot to do, they said keep it from holes from poking through. Take a fork and just kind of gradually go like this. This helps the air bubbles. Should have done this before, so the air bubbles don't pop it up. Again, you can just see what I'm doing. Ooh, it's getting very hot. All right, that should be good. Let's close this up and let's wait 10 minutes. been about 5 minutes. Again, we're maintaining around 400, 425 degrees Fahrenheit. Let's give it a shot and see what it looks like. Oh, it looks fantastic. Can you see that? It's browning up nicely. We'll check it again in a couple of minutes so it doesn't, make sure it's not burning. Most of the recipes said 425, but then I started thinking that's probably when they're just doing it, they were all based in the oven basically. So the trick with a pizza stone is that hypothetically it absorbs the heat and actually should be hotter. So although the temperature here says 400, I want to double check with this because I think it's cooking too fast. So yeah, you can see right now it's 400, almost 500 degrees. So I'm going to go ahead and take this thing out. It's not the full 10 minutes. The stone is much hotter than the actual ambient temperature of the grill. So it's about almost 100 degrees hotter. So I'm going to go ahead and take this out so it doesn't burn. How it goes. Again, using my pizza peel. Boy, look at that, perfect. All right, I got the pizza off the stone. I'm going to go ahead and set it over here on a cooling rack. Perfect. Cooling rack's good because it keeps the bottom nice and crisp so the heat doesn't make it moist and make it soggy on the bottom. Baking time is going to be a lot less using the stone. So I believe I used it just under 6 minutes and got a pretty good results. I mean, it's nice and golden brown. The bottom's nice and crisp, but not burnt. So I think 5-6 minutes, but definitely if you put it in for 400, check it at about the 5-minute point to make sure. We're gonna leave the grill on. Again, it's at 400. Pizza stone's still there. We're gonna need it later to melt the cheese and just warm everything back up. Let's go ahead and get the pizza on the peel again. This just makes it easier. Minimizes the chance of it falling apart. Take it over to the station. We're gonna go ahead and top this. Again, I'm gonna use my traditional Neapolitan. So I'm gonna go ahead and sauce. I made this sauce yesterday for some real Neapolitan pizzas. Again, it's just San Marzano tomatoes, sea salt, a little basil, crushed up. I'm not sure how much sauce. Again, I don't want it to get soggy, so we're gonna work relatively quickly. We're gonna do a little sea salt. Again, I'm sticking to my normal recipe. Olive oil, nice circle, we're good. We'll do some fresh mozzarella cheese. One more slice should do it. Basil. Okay, we've topped the pizza with the mozzarella, the sauce, the basil. We're gonna put it back on the peel, slide it gently on there. Perfect. Okay, we got the pizza back on the peel, as I mentioned. We're gonna put it back on the grill. It's at about 425 right now. This is only gonna take a few minutes at the most. I don't want it to burn. Literally just gonna close the lid. And I'm gonna actually put it on 3 minutes. I'll probably check it before the time's up also to make sure the bottom doesn't burn. We're just trying to melt the cheese and warm the sauce up. Tico got all excited. He saw me making pizza and he's waiting for his piece of crust. I went ahead and turned the burners off completely. It looks like the bottom's getting a little more cooked than I wanted to. I'm learning a lot on this one is that instead of a full 10 minutes on the pizza stone to get the crust ready, I would recommend maybe 5 minutes at the most just to get it golden. You don't want it brown at all. Again, all the recipes you see online, it's with shredded mozzarella on top, which melts super fast. With the slices of the fresh mozzarella, it's taking longer to melt, so you run the risk of burning the bottom of the crust. Okay, it's been just 3 minutes. Let's check. It's not too bad. And I'm gonna take it off now. I don't wanna risk it burning the bottom of the crust. Using my pizza peel. Looking great. Look at that, that looks fantastic. Again, I'm gonna put it on the cooling rack just for a few seconds to cool down a smidge. Looking great. This is cooled down enough. Put it over onto the, look at that. That is absolutely beautiful. Turned out great. Let's cut it up, see how it works. I'm gonna try to get a piece of the fresh mozzarella on each slice. Let's try it out. Not too bad. Again, the crust. That's my, going forward, I know what to do. I overcooked the bottom. I followed the recipe verbatim. Most of the recipes you're gonna see online are cooking in an oven. So on the grill, you need to cook it a lot less time. So a little bit overcooked on the bottom. It's still delicious. It's a great alternative. I think if you're trying to stick with the keto, low carb diet, this is a great option. It was super fun to make. All in all, it turned out very well. Very pleased. It looks pretty. I'm gonna go ahead and take this inside and eat it. Learned a lot today. I'm making my first keto, or is it keto? Keto. Low carb pizza today. And I didn't make it on my rock box today. I decided to use my Hans pizza stone on the grill. Worked out great. Some key learnings. The recipes that I saw on YouTube, most of those are based off using a standard kitchen oven. So some things I learned about were the timing and the temperatures are not necessarily gonna work for a grill and using a pizza stone on the grill. Some of the things I learned is that after forming the dough, I need to put it on the grill for less than 5 minutes to start. After that 5-minute time's up, take it off, maybe 3 to 5 minutes, take it off, put toppings on it, and then place it back on the grill. Another thing I learned is that trying to make a traditional margarita with the normal toppings, using the fresh mozzarella, the slices are great, but they don't melt as quickly as shredded mozzarella. So going forward, I'll probably use some fresh shredded mozzarella because the crust is almost completely cooked to the time you take it off the grill the first time. So when you put it back on to melt the toppings, the last thing you want to do is have to cook it another 5 full minutes to melt all the toppings. So I think if I would have used shredded mozzarella, it would have melted very quickly and I would have had less risk of overcooking the crust. All in all, it turned out pretty well. You can see, I took it inside and everybody inhaled it. So they all liked it. They said they wanted me to make it again. Or less time on the stone. Be careful not to overcook it. Use shredded mozzarella because it's gonna melt faster. And then also some of the feedback is I would put a little more sauce than you would typically do on a standard Neapolitan margarita pizza or marinara pizza, is that the almond flour is slightly drier. So I would sauce a little more than you normally would to add a little more flavor and to take away some of the dryness of the crust. All right, thanks again for watching. Let me know how it turns out if you make it at home.